What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. It's been a few days since I posted. Listen, in this second half of November, it's looking a little bit quieter on the battle rap side. Obviously, we have all the post-power move stuff. Their YouTube drops. Geechee versus Hitman just dropped a while ago. If you haven't watched that, go watch that now. Then check out my review after if you want to look over the details a bit more. But, it doesn't look like we're getting anything till Winter Madness, which is still about 2 or 3 weeks away. So it's a little bit of an open zone here. There's your daily topics and whatnot. But there's been so much more COTY talk, which if you guys know or have been a fan of the channel, you know I love. I've been a part of the panel a couple times. I think it's one of the best dialogue starters and really it's our MVP award, and that can only be a positive for battle rap. Whether you don't like the winner or whatnot, it's all just good discussion, right? So I figured it was time to introduce this COTY case overview series that I've been waiting to do for a minute. There was a comment a few videos ago. I don't remember who commented it. I remember I responded, so if this is you watching, you know who I'm talking to, kind of mentioning more of the COTY conversation. So I figured now would be a good time. And a big thing is someone that's been on the panel and reviews every battle, right? It keeps up with the resumes, the results, and things like that. I noticed the biggest disconnect by the time the end of the year comes is, listen, not everybody remembers every battle, which is not a shocker. You know what I'm saying? Some of these guys are battling 10 to 15 times plus a year. Some of them have more limited resumes like the battle that we're going to discuss today. But it's hard for people to remember every battle that happened in the year, let alone every result, which way it got called, how the public viewed it. There's so many details, especially the stuff earlier in the year, once we're 10 or 12 months later. So I thought this series would be great to kind of review the full resumes. I mean, not every single battle is going to get talked about the same. Obviously, some battles matter more than others, but just give you a general view of like what they've done this year. Talk about some of the things that helped their bigger battles or results, how it helped their year, in my opinion. Some of their weaker results, whether that's a loss or just simply the weaker of a good set of battles, right? Kind of talk about the ups and downs of the year. We're going to talk a little bit too about the categories, because I know that confuses everyone, the criteria. So look at the 6 categories real quick, talk about what battlers, it looks like they'd have a pretty good argument here in this category, might be tougher in these, and by the end, I won't be giving any exact placements, but maybe a projection of where I see them by the end of the year. So it's really just an overview of the year in case there's a battler you forgot about, or if you know some of their resume or forgot about a couple other battles within it, you just get a full view here to be like, oh, this is what they did in 2024. And as you can see, the first person we're going to do this for is JJDD, who's had a heavily talked about year, specifically in the first half of the year. And I'm choosing him first because as we hit December, I know there's a lot of battles pretty much that still have to go down. People that are high or, possible contenders for the top 20 on the COTY list, that their years still aren't completely finished, right? With John, I can't guarantee that it's finished, but after the way the whole Cassidy situation went down, which we might talk about here in a little bit later while breaking down the year, there is a good chance that this is his full resume for the year. It is 4 battles, but there's still stuff to talk about. I just thought it'd be a good starter to see how you guys felt about the series going in. But without further ado, let's jump right into the resume for John in 2024. So the most important thing, as always, right, is the battles themselves. And here it is, the resume, which I said was right on the dot. It's at the 4 battle requirement, especially because of that cancellation with the Cass battle. And I'm also going to talk a little bit here about like which ones I think added to his year most. It's like a ranking in a sense, but it's Calico, Frack, and then you got Coffee and Serious Jones. Now off rip, I think that the Calico battle and the body bag result that he got is the best thing John has done in 2024. For those that don't remember, he did headline Politics as usual, obviously his only bullpen versus Calico, and got a judge W. He picked up $50,000 off the floor from it. I believe for those that are worried about the validity in judging, out of all judge cards that maybe you could kind of pick apart if you didn't like the system, blase. These 3 judges, if I'm correct, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Quest McCody, Chilla Jones, and Averb. And listen, I'm sure you'll get your Averb slander off or your jokes, your critiques. Lord knows that I have, but those are 3 decorated veteran battlers, legends for the most part there. So I feel like out of all judging, I mean, that's a pretty fair 3 to rely on. And even aside from that, there wouldn't need to be a judge for this battle because John was incredible and just wiped the floor with Calico, who was not very good in the battle. And I'm not someone that when I look at strength of schedule, I judge that particular performance they stood in front of, right? I'm looking at the name in front of you, which is Calico, who is a legend. And even if you want to say Calico has kind of had some more rough performances lately, I believe he had the Reed battle. It was maybe after this. But listen, going into the battle, it was pretty 50-50. There's a lot of people that had Cal. It's not like people just said, oh, John John's going to win dominantly. Maybe that would take away a bit more, where it's like everyone expects you to win 3-0, so you did. That wasn't the expectation. Calico is a legend, a hard battler to beat, and even if he wasn't great that day, I'm not taking away from the body bag win because the opponent wasn't that good, because that's why it was a body bag win. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense to me to take away from the winner because the loser's performance wasn't simply as good. He 30'd a legend, he won 50 grand off it, and that's not even talking to the material itself. I think this is the best 3 rounds of material John John brought. You could disagree maybe if you like the more all-around kind of approach he took for Frack, for Sirius. It's definitely more bar for bar. He simply punched at Cal, but it's some of the better bar-for-bar stuff you're going to see from John John. For someone that's critiqued all the time for outdated bars and can't punch or right with people, he rode at a high level versus Calico, especially in those first 2 rounds. It's a dominant 3-0 win. Like I said, he picked up 50 racks. To me, all those things add to that clearly being like the biggest plus factor for John John of the year. And then the second biggest, to me pretty clearly, is the battle with Frack on Massacre 6. And I feel like this is where it's a little bit of a funnier conversation. Now listen, I have John John winning the battle. I had him losing on first watch. I had him winning on the rewatch when I did the bar-for-bar breakdown of the battle. I had him winning the second and the third round. But if somebody has Frack winning, this is kind of that perspective of COTY, where listen, if you got him Frack winning the debatable battle, you might just inherently view the case a little bit different. Maybe you never agreed with John John's momentum, but I think just the quality of the battle being that good. I mean, Massacre 6 for many is still event of the year, at least high up, top 2 in that conversation with power moves, and he had debatably the best battle of the weekend with Frack. And it was another battle where going into it, this was 50-50. I know that I had Frack going into it. It was a war of tacticians. And to take Frack on King of the Dot, where I won't necessarily say it gave him I think you could debate at the time it would give Frack a flat-out advantage, but at the very least, more comfortable, right? Frack is going to be more comfortable on a King of the Dot as opposed to, a John John who could battle pretty much on any league, and I feel like damn near had that same level of comfortability. And I've seen John John get beat on King of the Dot quite a few times, so to take Frack, who hadn't taken a clear loss in such a long time, was bigged up as such a dangerous opponent on King of the Dot specifically, and to have, at the very least, a very good debatable, but how me and a few others called it, an edge for John John, I think that, that only adds to his year. The Calico win, bigger name, more dominant, I think material-wise a little more consistent across all 3, but I think the war he had with Frack is the second biggest plus. And then you could kind of have a debate of whether, the Sirius Jones battle and the Coffee battle, which one is stronger. I don't think either take away from his year. It's another one where I had him winning both battles, but him and Coffee on Kings vs. Queens Summer Madness for URL wasn't a main event, wasn't a huge impact takeaway from the night, and it's the only other battle here I think is debatable. I think you could debate him and Frack. I think you could debate him and Coffee. And it's one I had him winning by an edge once again in the second and the third round of the battle. Had him losing the first to both Frack and Coffee, starting a little bit slow. But it's not that it was like a minus or one of the worst battles of the night. It just wasn't one of the main takeaways, like a Vixen and a Nitty, right? Like a Tay-Rock and a Jazz. So I had him winning in a cool fight, but you could almost say it adds to Coffee's case just as much because she had a pretty deadlock debatable with him. And I think in terms of the reviews, it was pretty split on how people called it. And then the Sirius Jones battle, like I said, it's right there. You could debate that's a little bit of a bigger deal because he did it on 3 days prep. Everyone remembers he stepped in for Verb last second. And I thought he pretty clearly beat Sirius, and I think the battle also gets boosted up, not just because it was done on late prep, but Sirius kind of fought back too, right? I think there's some that I've seen a couple people try to debate Sirius one. I don't think he did that good. You know what I'm saying? I did have him winning a round in the battle. I had John John 2-1 in the first 2, but Sirius Jones, not the craziest level of competition, even on his greatest day, which that is pretty much his best day of this year. I still had John John winning the battle, and that's with him at 3 days prep, but I still thought the material was good. However you divvy this up, I have it 4-0 with 2 of the battles being debatable, but I just think the Cal and Frack battles really carry a signature win, and then kind of a signature war most people have you winning, and then your 2 other battles, while not like as impactful, I don't think, edging out a win versus Coffee or the Sirius Jones battles are a bad look. So with that 4, a pretty compact and consistent schedule. And now that we're done with just the straight battles, right? Everyone wants to hear, how do you call the winners and losers, which I just did, personally got them 4-0, right? How good do you think the material was in each battle, and which ones do you think benefits his year the most? Kind of said like the strong points of the year, not the weak points, but the ones that don't add as much to it. But that leads to a question everybody asks with COTY. Do wins and losses count? How do they count? They're not exactly on the criteria. As someone that's been on the panel, communicates all the time with people that have also been on the panel, wins and losses are a huge part. That's why when big wins happen, we have this conversation. Big wins, especially clear wins, is how you climb the ranks. If you take a loss or you have a bad battle, that's going to bring you down the ranks. But you can't only base it on wins and losses, right? Because I got John 4-0. What happens if somebody's got him losing to fracking coffee, right? We're going to debate, but these are debatable battles. This is a matter of opinion. Unless it's all clear results or all judge results, I can't just look at that. So it's applied to the 6-part criteria. This is the criteria. It's 6 pieces. It's hard to remember every piece of like this debate, you know what I'm saying, when COTY comes around, but these are the things, and it's really easy when you break it down. Impact and moments is the more popularity-based ones, right? That's the battlers making the most noise, who's been talked about the most, and obviously with impact comes moments. People are going to remember specific things if you've been doing stuff all year in the ring. Then you have the 3 out of the 6 that are all in the ring based, right? Consistency, how consistent are you rapping? Material, how good is this shit that you're rapping? Performance, how good are you performing the shit that you're rapping? That's very simple. Strength of schedule is the last one. Who are you battling? Because how are you the best in battle rap? You beat some of the other best in battle rap. The bigger the opponent, the harder the opponent, and then you do good versus them. Of course, that adds more to your case, right? So we're going to discuss here with John which categories I think he's going to have great arguments in compared to others, and which ones I think will be a bit tougher. It doesn't, it matters which battler he'd be pitted up against. Does John have more impact than this specific battler? Does this specific battler have better material? But humor me for a second when I talk about kind of the strengths of his year, right? So strengths, consistency. He's got 4 battles, right? It kind of reminds me of when K-Shine had about 4 battles a year when he was on his run and people thought he would win COTY, or when Sue Surf battled 3 times and shot right up to top 3 in 2021. When you got 4 battles, it's easier to focus in on each one and just not lose clear, right? You don't have the same marks as others do because you're focusing your full attention on every battle. So while other people might have 10, 12, 14 battles, and they have more strength of schedule because they battle more top names, right? Maybe it leads to more impact because you're seeing them more often. You got 4 battles, and if I could debate your 4-0, how much more consistent does it get than that? Even if we're talking about someone with 10 plus battles, if they have 1 bad showing or even 2 or 3 that you could debate, well, I got 0. If I could be argued as 4-0, I could be as perfect from the field. So I feel like battling less gives you that bit of advantage on consistency, and I feel like that's a big part of John's case. And then also material is his big strength, because I feel like out of all years, this is some of the best just bar for bar material John was giving. You saw people that were saying, yo, like, he's up top just because he's rapping just that good. There's still people putting him in that conversation with Rock and Av and some of the other like forefront contenders as we hit the end of the year because he was just rapping that good. So when I look at consistency and material, which to me are 2 extremely important categories, John's going to fare very good almost no matter who he's compared against this year. Doesn't mean he'll straight up win it, but it means he'll be high rated in those categories. And then you have the weaknesses in a sense, right? And this doesn't mean that John doesn't have these checked off. Anyone that's on the COTY list possesses all 6 of these things. They've done good, but did they do as good as some of the others in the category, right? So I look at strength of schedule, perfect example. John's strength of schedule is not bad. Calico is a fight, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how it turned out afterwards. That's just the way that he beat him. But going into it, Calico's a legend. It was a 50-50 battle. Frack on King of the Dot is a fight. And if there's any fight you could say, I guess, is the weakest of them, it would be Sirius Jones, but gets a little bit extra credit, right? Because he did it on 3 days prep. So you got to add the context and that special type of thing that adds points to it. But Sirius Jones hasn't really won a battle this year. He hasn't looked really good in any other battle but the John one. So if you want to say Sirius, he was predicted by 1 million to win going in. That's understandable. Even Coffee, though, right? She's been a WOTY contender for the last few years and a winner. So you have one of the top ladies. You have someone that's supposed to be like a Weapon X, dangerous weapon, where you battled him on King of the Dot. And you have a legend with Calico. The problem is that there's other people who have battled 3 to 4 top tiers like John, then like 2 more top tiers, then like 4 more mid tiers, right? There's just people that have done more work. And even though John's got 4 good fights here, there's some people that got just as many fights as him with just a couple more, man. You know what I'm saying? And then that's not even including there's other top battle rappers you could debate that might be more challenging than a Calico or a Frack. So it depends who he's compared to. But with 4 battles, it does get a little tougher on strength of schedule unless the 4 battles are like, like Lux, Mook Rock Surf. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be like the highest level, the lower the amount of battles that you have. Then I also think performance. I think John has done good in that, but he hasn't competed on too many of like the bigger stages. I guess there hasn't been as much bigger stage battle rap in general, but there's just some more performance heavy battle rappers out there that are a bit more animated with what they do. I could see some people getting that debate over him, but he's not even that bad in that category. And then there's Impact, which I still think he's solid in, but with the cancellation of the Cassidy battle, we know that would have been a big factor for him. That would have made him one of the most impactful, have one of the most probably talked about battles and type of situations of the year, would put him at the top of the stack where he was aiming to go. But without that Cass battle, while these four are good, especially as we get towards the end of the year, people forget a little bit more as they go. People start to remember the wrong things, so he still had solid impact, but I wouldn't say as we hit December, he's been one of the loudest, most talked about battle rappers across the entire year when you take all 12 months into account. And that's my category breakdown right there. I did not have moments because it's much more fickle. Unless someone has a bunch of standout moments, you could almost debate across. It's one of the most debatable, right? But I'm viewing at specific strengths, consistency and material. John's going to have a good debate against almost anyone on that 20 list, right? Strength of schedule, performance, and impact. It's not that it's going to be bad, but other people rank highly in those. I don't know if it's as strong as his argument in terms of possibly being 4-0 and rapping some of his best material, right? So that's kind of my breakdown on the things that actually put it together, that criteria that kind of evades people sometimes. Wins and losses adds that. If he wasn't winning so much, his consistency wouldn't be as high. If he wasn't rapping so good to win, the material wouldn't be so high. But then from there, I got a bit of a projection here, right? I cannot give you an exact number. That wouldn't be the fair thing to do, and it's just not something I would do until we get to the end of the year. If I ended up on the panel, obviously, I wouldn't want you guys to know all my rankings. And then we'll see if I don't end up on the panel this year, I'll probably just drop my straight, at least top 10 list, if not my personal top 20 list when we get to that point. But in terms of projections, we're talking about a guy that I think for a lot of the year, and some people still view him in the top 5, but you got to agree, even if you're the biggest John fan, the Cassidy battle, even if he was expected to win, it would do a lot in that impact, right? He could have made some moments out of it. Imagine if he had a bar, something that went viral off of it that could compete in that moments category. Those are all things that I felt like opened the door with the Cassidy battle, and even though I had John winning clear going in, that's how it still would have benefited his case, that overall impact. But without it, I'm not saying that he can't end up top 5, but especially if he doesn't pick up a 5th battle before the year's out, there's been some really good years, man. So I don't know if while he was high up there mid-year, I mean, there's still people that say he's up there in the top 3, at least in the top 5, but other people have been working their ass off when you get to November, when you get to December, and adding big pieces. So for me, at the very least, I'll say with these projections, I do view John as a top 10 guy this year. I do find it very likely. I don't want to say objectively because you never know what can happen, but I find it very likely he'll find himself in the top 10 battle rappers, even though he did more in the first half of the year than he's going to have contributed per se in like the second half or last quarter of the year. It was still meaningful work while he did it. So the noise can die down all at once, but you can't take away that 7 to 8 months into the year, if he was viewed as a top 3 or 5 guy, it's very hard to believe he's going to fall out of the top 10. That many people are going to jump him, even with him pretty much not having work as the year closes out. So for me, at the very least, a top 10 projection. Doesn't mean he can't end up higher than that, but I think that's around where his floor would be. I'd be shocked to see him fall into the 11 to 15 range. Not impossible either, but I'd personally be shocked to see that happen by the time we hit the end of the year. But that is kind of my full overview here, right, on John's COTY case. We went over the resume, how I view each battle, either benefiting him or, in this case, none of them really didn't benefit him, but some of them benefit him at different levels. And then, of course, talking about specifically when we get up there. Maybe you won't be able to watch the whole debate, but if you're thinking about who's had the best year, look at those 6 pieces and think, does he have more of this than some of the others? Compare how you might view the impact and strength of schedule for a battle rapper you have highly up in the ranks. View that across from a John's and see how they weigh out, and that's where you get your final rankings really for COTY. But now I want to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section down below. First of all, I want to hear your opinions on the series. Of course, do you like the series, first of all? Because I could put at least maybe one of these out a week, maybe 1 or 2, especially as more people have their final battles of the years. But I want to see, is there a way that you guys want it broken down? Do you like the more like straight to the point approach with it? Do you want it to be more of a long, detailed view of the COTY cases? Please let me know. And of course, let me know your view on John's year specifically. Obviously, it's a strong year. How do you feel like the quietness of the back half of the year has affected his year? And even with 4 battles, where do you project him? Do you see him being a top 5 guy? Do you think he was so high up with those 4 battles, he's still going to end up there? Or do you see him maybe still ending up as a top 15 guy, top 10 guy, but maybe he's kind of cooled off on his momentum as the year ends? So I just want to hear all your opinions, COTY-wise, and of course on the series itself. But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.